this evening, his last appearance at home in front of these Cronulla fans. Here's the Rabbitohs side tonight. Paul Wood, Adam McDougall, Gordon, Hegarty, Sutton and Ben Walker make up the back line. The forward pack is Cusack, Shane Walker, Geddes, Minicello, Stewart and the captain Ashley Harrison at lock forward. The bench is Manakafoa, Farlogo, Champion and Logan. They've won 5 of their last 7 games. Slightly disappointing last week, it has to be said, at Gosford against the North Queensland Cowboys, but they can cause an upset here tonight against the Sharks, who have mixed their form, Laurie Daly, in recent times. Well,
they certainly have, and looking to go into the semi-finals with a bit of form behind them. David Peachey at the back, last ever game at Toyota Park. He'll be looking for a big one. Dave Simons, Nigel Vungana, Paul Miller, Cavill, the halves combination of Dykes, Kamali the skipper. Forward pack of Mayava, Kingston, Nutley, back row of Hilda, Bailey, Paul Gallen, who's been in superb form. Keith Galloway comes onto the interchange bench, Williams, Lulawai, and the super sub, Michael Sullivan.
Our referee is Russell Smith. Rested last weekend. He is back in action tonight. It'd be fitting if the Peach could put one down just inside the dead ball line, wouldn't it, to round out the career here?
Oh, he'll be trying his hardest, and I'm sure his teammates will as well, but their main focus should be on the result. Getting the win first. And if they can get to an early lead against South Sydney, there's no reason why they won't look for the Peaks to score.
They put on 68 points 2 weeks ago here at this venue against the Sea Eagles. The opposition, though, might be a bit stiffer tonight. It's Mayava who brings it back out on the first carry. Kingston goes to his left-hand side, and Matt Hilda there takes it to Shane Walker and also Scott Geddes. They'll keep it going to the left-hand side. Here's Paul Gallen, who's had a super season for the Sharks. It will continue on into the playoffs, and they would love to send off David Peachey with an appearance deep into the finals in 2005. But as Jason Stevens told us in our pre-game show, they need to get some momentum going here tonight with this game. Nutley will play it just short of the halfway line. Kingston comes to Brett Kamali, who runs a long way. No pressure on him. And the kick comes down to Todd Polglaze, who will circle and look up and see Kamali leading the chasing team down the park.
Yeah, nice steady start by the Sharks, looking to go forward through their big men. Nice quick play the balls. No kick pressure applied there to Brett Kamali. That's something that South Sydney will have to do as the game gets older.
Walker, a pass which goes to ground past everybody. Garth Wood had a crack at it. He'd come midfield looking for a hit up. And now it's Mark Minicello who had to clean it up. And a little miscommunication there. They mistimed the run, and now dummy half Shane Walker goes for a scamper of 5 or so metres. It came back from Cusack to Stewart, who's stopped by Kamali at the Rabbitohs 40-metre line. 2 tackles left in this set of 6. Here's Walker getting in behind them. Nutley was at marker and fell for a little dummy there, and Walker took it into Sharks territory. Harrison coming back to Ben Walker, putting up a spiral bomb, and some pressure here on Luke Cavell, who did it pretty well. He took it in the fingertips. He had Peachey there with him, but it's Minicello who will wrap him up.
He's had a good season too, Luke Cavell. Of course, represented country earlier on this season. He's a great goal kicker, good striker of the football. But worrying signs early for the Sharks with Shane Walker out of dummy half, little dummy. The markers weren't alert.
Kamali working on that left-hand side, going to Gallen, who takes it up towards the 40-metre line, but he's wrapped up there by Gordon and also Ben Walker. Adam Dykes comes to Kamali, and then a knock-on by Danny Nutley, who hasn't had a happy start to this game. He missed Walker from marker and now coughs one up, and the Rabbitohs will get a penalty at the 30-metre line. Brett Kamali penalised for kicking out there in the play the ball. Here's the mistake by Nutley. It went to ground, dived on there by Cusack, and then Brett Kamali laying over the top of the front rower and then lashing out. It's been a long time since you've been able to do that in the NRL.
He might have thought he was going to get away with it. Russell Smith is right on top as Cusack carries the ball forward.
Stopped there by Mayava and also Kingston. He'll play it back here for Shane Walker. Geddes takes it forward. The Rabbitohs looking for early points here. They're only 5 metres out. We've had 3.5 minutes gone at Toyota Park. Here's Ben Walker. He comes to John Sutton, so creative, so dangerous as well. He can stand and offload in tackles. Harrison will play it just outside the 10. Hegarty gets to dummy half. He'll bring it back towards the post and dances across the face of the defenders. Stopped there by Nutley and also Gallen eventually. They've used up 4. They've still got 2 here as they come back to the left-hand side. Sutton again, a ball back on the inside for Polglaze. He had no speed, though. Here's a chance. Harrison gives it to Adam McDougall. Wrapped up by Nigel Vungana. A couple of veterans coming to grips there. 5 out from the line still on the last. It's Ben Walker. The crossfield bomb isn't a bad one. They fly for it. It comes off the hands of Wood. It will be a knock-on against him, and that should be the turnover on the last tackle.
That's one movement.
No talk, more action, said the Rabbitohs captain, or perhaps didn't say. Here's Nutley now, down towards the 20. The Sharks looking to get some continued pressure on the Rabbitohs line. Souths have been good in defence so far at this end of the field. Here's Dykes going to Gallen. He runs at Buddy Gordon. He stops him just outside the Rabbitohs 10. Dykes from dummy half. Running a long way, a ball back on the inside for Kingston, who gets across the line and scores the first try of his career. And it puts the Sharks in front 4 points to 0.
They just weren't desperate enough, South Sydney. And Mark Minicello was defending at mark-up, and he was called offside. Now, he didn't know whether to go through with the tackle. He thought, will I make a tackle? Will I give away a penalty? In that situation, you have to go through with it. You've got to be prepared to give away another set of 6 or maybe the 2 points. You just can't afford to hold back and think that someone's going to make a tackle.
Cavell really can strike them nicely, and he does it on this occasion to make it 6 points to 0 in favour of the home side, trying to send out David Peachey a winner tonight. They've got the first points, Greg.
Yeah, look, it's a big crowd that's turned up too to see this Sharks final home game and the last of David Peachey. Didn't they all go up when he made that break minutes earlier? Look, it's been a good year for the Sharks too in terms of crowds, averaging just over 16,000 at each home game. I'm sure we've got that covered tonight. Great to see Kevin Kingston score his first try, but the Sharkies fans, they're all waiting for Peach to score his 11th this year, and that'd take it to 110 in his career. A super effort.
He took the kick off and gave it to Hutch Mayava, who brings it back out to play it just short of the 20-metre line. The try scorer Kingston goes across to Matt Hilder, who gives it on to Danny Nutley. And now Yleen Gordon has a problem coming out of the tackle here. He clutched at his face. We'll keep an eye on him. He might have copped a stray boot to the face there. Hilder working it up towards the halfway line. Scott Logan is out there now midway through this first half as Sean McRae goes to his bench. Dykes kicks down the middle of the field. Polglaze will now try and wait for it to go across the dead ball line. It won't get there, and now he's in trouble. Great effort to bring it back to the field of play.
Great, that was superstar effort. Todd Polglaze took the chance. Dykes is now penalised. What an effort by the fullback. He looked gone for all money. He looked as though he put his team under pressure. And then he just dived as if he was scoring a try out into the field of play. Great effort. The football, you thought it was going to go dead. And they're ducking in between 3 defenders. That's great work.
Hold it, 10 boys. Go.
Off the back of it, they got the penalty. And they'll work it up here through David Farlogo, who is out there now for the Rabbitohs. He'll play it here, just short of the 40-metre line. Shane Walker from dummy half. And brother Ben there. He went past him to give it to Logan. They're at the halfway line. Here is Walker going to Ashley Harrison, coming to Phil Bailey. They picked up some good metres in this set of 6. They've used up 4 tackles so far. They'll keep it going down the short side. Shane Walker, a dummy, and then a lost ball.
2 knock-ons, advantage.
The Sharks also made a knock-on, so they'll get the feed here from the scrum. Shane Walker saying, my pass was backwards, and they made the knock-on, sir, but Brett Kamali has the ball in his clutches.
They tried to force the issue here. Shane Walker losing the football. Phil Bailey making contact, the ball coming out. Referee once again made the correct decision. Looks dangerous out of dummy half, though, when the markers aren't alert, Shane Walker.
He's tried to catch them out a couple of times, did so very early in the game. Don't forget, you Digital subscribers to Foxtel and also Austar can press the red button tonight and listen to our fan booth. A mad Rabbitoh and Shark fan in there, screaming and carrying on for their side. All you have to do is press the red button on your remote control, you digital subscribers, and listen live to the fan booth. Tonight, the Sharks and the Rabbitohs. Here is a turnover, and Shane Walker coming up with possession. They have coughed up a number of balls inside Rabbitohs territory so far in this game, the Sharks. Here's Hegarty getting a one bounce pass himself. He comes back in to be stopped there by Bailey. John Sutton giving it to Scott Logan, who takes it across the halfway line. Stopped by Kingston and also Mayava. Shane Walker gives it to Manikafoa. Picked up there on a good tackle by Gallen. They're 35 away from the Sharks line. Here's Ben Walker giving it to Gordon, who looks to be okay after being injured in that previous set of 6 in defence. He'll play it here at the 20-metre line. They've got a long left-hand side set here. Shane Walker gets to first receiver, comes to John Sutton. He goes left to Adam McDougall, who loses it. Backwards, said the referee. He picks it up and comes at them again and tries to duck under the tackle there of Bailey. Shane Walker on the last, comes back to Sutton. He grubbers off the legs of Vangana, not played at, kicked again by Sutton. Now Simmons gives a ball to Vangana, and he might go the rest of the way. Paul Glaze is chasing and picking him up and putting him down. What a great chase and a tackle by the fullback. He'll give away a penalty and will be sin bin for his trouble.
Well, the referee had no other option. But Paul Glaze has saved a definite 4-pointer for his team. What a chase. The Sharks have played on though quickly. Adam Dykes with a football in his hands, drifting across the paddock, loses the ball.
Towed backwards by Gallen. Somebody screaming forward. I think the referee was asking his touch judge, was the ball forward, and he was getting no response. It's play on for the Sharks in the meantime. Here's Kamali going to Mellor, in behind them. He'll crash across and score for the Sharks. They're in for number 2. They're up against a 12-man defensive line for the next 9.5 minutes, and they might score some points in that time if what we just saw is any indication.
Well, they're looking to spread the ball, the Sharks. Second try of the evening. But it came about through a long run by Vangana. And who was in support? David Peachey. He was there. He was calling for the football. I don't think Vangana knew he was there. He just pinned the ears back. He thought he'd have the speed, but Paul Glaze closes in quickly over the last 5. And then he just lies on the tackle player, sent to the sin bin. And from there, the Sharks, they go wide. Paul Mellor cutting back against a sliding defensive line, going through some shoulders, some arm tackles, I should say. There you see Ashley Harrison coming across, going in between he and Yolene Gordon.
He has a habit of scoring tries against the Rabbitohs too. 5 now in his last, not quite 2.5 games. Cavell's kick is wide. It swings to the right-hand side, but the Sharks are doing it nicely at the moment. The Rabbitohs with just 12 men for the next 8.5 minutes. There's Mel stepping back inside Gordon. He is too big from that range to be able to stop once he gets inside his opposite number. Nigel Vangana. 21 line breaks in 2005. I'm sure he thought he was away and looking for a try. It was a great chase by Paul Glaze, but he took the matter out of the referee's hands, didn't he, by hanging on as long as he did, and Russell Smith just had to send him to the sin bin.
That's how Sydney, they're going to do all they can for the next 10 minutes to slow the game down.
They're doing a good job right here with the kickoff. Ben Walker has taken an age to find the kicking tee, place the ball and finally get it away, and now he kicks it down to David Peachey. He gives it to Keith Galloway. Oh, and he ran past the outstretched arm there. Scott Logan it was who threw out the right mitt and it got him across the face, but no call from the referee. It was play on. It was barely a mosquito hitting Galloway as he worked it back outside the 20. Kingston trying to duck under some tackles and doing a good job of it. Now on hands and knees, Gordon comes in to shut him down, and Peachey will come back to Kamali on this right-hand side. Bailey running at Ashley Harrison, offloading yet again. He just refuses to die in the tackle. Vangana now He stopped just outside the Rabbitohs 40. They've put down plenty of possession so far in this game, the Sharks, but they've got a look about them suddenly here against this 12-man lineup. Kamali. Oh, a ball lost in the tackle there. Getting cleaned up was Phil Luluai, was it? Or rather, Reece Williams it was, who was fresh on the field and was hitting a high tackle.
Sharks jersey competition. And the winner is Matt Noonan. Matt Noonan, you won yourself a Sharks jersey.
Eileen Gordon, the player who'll be called out here by the referee. Certainly contact with the neck there of Reece Williams. We'll see if the Sharks elect to take the 2 points, or the attempted 2 points from long range. They will, to make it, try and make it 12 points to 0.
Yeah, interesting decision though, isn't it? Because it does 2 time off the clock. South Sydney look as though they're starting to struggle. Look as though it was starting to open up a little bit for the Sharks.
The Sharks had a lead back in round 18.
Keep still, boys.
The Rabbitohs ran them down in the second half of that game, inspired by Mark Minicello's creativity on a couple of occasions in conjunction with Ashley Harrison. He did a great job for the Rabbitohs on that night. Here's the kick from Cavell. He gets the 2 points. He makes it 12 points to 0. They did use up some time on the clock, and there is still 5 minutes remaining for the Rabbitohs to play with Todd Polglaze in the sin bin.
And it's a big 5 minutes coming up. Michael Sullivan, the super sub, about to take part in the game. He is dynamic out of dummy half, and the South Sydney forwards had to do a bit more defensive work. All of a sudden, they're going to be put under pressure because Sullivan will scoot out of dummy half.
Reece Williams looks to be okay, waiting for the recommencement of play here, and now time off from the referee as Ben Walker milked it for all it was worth once again from the kickoff. It bounces away from Peachy. It comes to David Simmons, who you would think would be back there at fullback in place of Peachy in 2006. And when he's filled in for Peachy in the past in that position, he's done a very good job. We look to have a capable replacement in Dave Simmons. Sullivan from dummy half gives it to Nutley, who comes there to Shane Walker and also Luke Stewart. Here's Kamali giving it to Williams again. Well, he's a magnet tonight for high tackles. This time it's David Farlogo who got him with a cuffing tackle to the side of the head.
You've got to get him down there. No, you're going above the shoulder. We're getting round the neck area.
We've got to show more discipline. That's a lazy attempt to tackle there by Farlogo. Copying him going high, copying him around the chin. All of a sudden, Sharks on a roll, attacking 20 metres out.
Nutley running it. Eileen Gordon. Now, flopping back to the ground. He might have milked the penalty here, and now Russell Smith will have yet another word to Ashley Harrison. They have one player in the sin bin. This one might have been a bit tough for the Rabbitohs. Danny Nutley worked that very nicely, didn't he?
Earlier, Ashley. Then we get a sin bin. Yep. Since then, we've had a couple of penalties. Then I get an incident here where we've had a tackle. Ben Walker, despite me telling him earlier in the game, wants to lead with the knees after the tackle. If you want to somebody else in the bin, it's quite easy. Just keep carrying on. If you want to stop it, talk to your players and control it. Just keep talking. I won't be talking much more. There'll be someone else following the last person in the bin, OK?
We could have a rugby league team playing a soccer team here in a moment if the Rabbitohs give away another penalty. Here's Kamali.
Yep.
5 metres out from the Rabbitohs line, looking to make it 16 points. Nearly almost took the head off the hammerhead.
On the goal line, boys.
The mascot nearly wore one right between the eyes.
Oh, go.
Wouldn't have been such a bad thing, really. Here's Galloway.
Dominant one.
He'll play it 5 out from the south line. Sullivan goes to the shorts on a ball for Gallen. Logan coming across, made some serious contact with him and stopped him just a metre out. Here's Kamali. He goes back to Galloway. There was half a hole there for a half a second. Manaka Foa was there to make the tackle with the help of Gordon. Sullivan comes back to this open side. He was shepherded that way by Ben Walker. Now Peachy throws a long ball. Simmons does well. He tiptoes inside the sideline. Comes back to be stopped there by John Sutton. He's 20 out. A couple of tackles left. It goes to Dykes. Nutley beats one tackle. He went straight past David Farlogo. He's still going, and now he'll be penalised. He was tackled, and he wanted to go on with it. And now he wants to give the referee a bit of a serve. Will be marched 10 metres because of it.
Well, players need to learn that the referees are cracking down hard on anyone using dissent. You just can't afford to do it. It's a silly penalty. The referee's not going to change his opinion. And Polglaze has got 2 minutes left before he returns into the contest.
Here's Logan. A little bit of ball playing. Ben Walker, a ball to Farlogo, who was wide, and he almost crashed through them. Gallen was there to hang on to him with the help of Adam Dykes. Ben Walker to Adam McDougall, who's crossed to that right-hand side. Garthwood working down the sideline. Popped a pass he didn't need to throw early in the tackle count. They just got a penalty and had done very well in the first couple of plays, and then Wood gave possession straight back to the Sharks.
Yeah, you can't afford to do that, especially when you haven't seen too much of the football. You've got to control it. There's Kamali to the line.
And guess who was flashing through again? He just didn't get there in time, but it was Peachy once again looking for an offload. Here's Williams chiming onto a good ball. Sullivan creating now in the middle of the park. He goes from dummy half. It goes to Dykes. He's stopped there by Stewart and also Farlogo. The ball pops out. Gallen puts it on the toe, and then Ben Walker plays it off his own foot and comes up with possession for the Rabbitohs.
Well, I don't know if that was the right play there by the Sharks, but David Peachy's really sniffing in behind the play of the ball, isn't he? He can sense there's a little bit.
Put the hands on the player.
There's a little bit happening there for his team.
Put the hands on the player.
It's opened up a couple of times. He's been into position. Polglaze looking at the stopwatch. You would back Peachy in to score tonight. He's buzzing.
He's just floating around looking. The Rabbitohs will have it here at the halfway line. Polglaze, less than 30 seconds remaining, and here's 10 minutes in the sin bin. Logan bouncing towards him as he came to Nutley and also Galloway. He'll play it just outside the 40, and despite having Polglaze in the bin for that period, the Rabbitohs have given up just the 6 points, and here he is coming back the fullback to rejoin things on this near side as they have it in attack now. If they could score before the break, they are right in this game. Here is Shane Walker, and now a mistake in the play of the ball. The Rabbitohs will complain there was a hand once again in the play of the ball by the Sharks. John Sutton certainly wasn't happy about it, and a couple of words to the touch judge.
Well, it was a late call too, wasn't it, by the referee? I'm sure the touch judge had said something. Russell Smith couldn't hear it.
Balls away. Rest up.
It looked as though the officials got it 100% correct, you would say, on that replay. Ashley Harrison's trying to get to his feet and play it quickly. Might have lost it as he
put your head in. Head in, boys. Get
got back to his feet. He might have placed the ball on Kamali's leg, which helped him lose it, but really the onus was on him to hang on to it. The Sharks have it through Vungana. Sullivan going to the left-hand side. Gallen here losing the ball again. He's coughed up some tonight.
Well, that's a big play. Big play just before half-time.
Here's Sutton with some room to move, going in between them. He had them back pedaling, and John Sutton puts the Rabbitohs right in this game. 4 minutes out from half-time, they have their first, and it's 12-4.
You've got to treasure the football. You've got to make sure you have good ball security. And it was just a cheap turnover. Gallen to the line, losing it. And from there, South Sydney started their set of 6, 30 metres out. On to John Sutton, who's looked dangerous tonight. And they've looked dangerous when they've opened the field up and going with a long shift play. But on this occasion, Sutton just dummies and goes himself. Individual brilliance by the young 5'8".
Ben Walker 20 in from the western touchline. His kick is a good one. And with less than 3 minutes remaining here in this first half, the gap is only 6.
And the Bunnies had no right to be in this game at the time. No right. Down 38% of the ball they've had in this first half. Look, both sides, it's been a disjointed first half. Both sides struggling with their continuity. But the Sharks, 10 errors. We've spoke about that area of their game, and they haven't fixed it up. And their defence, that was a poor one-on-one miss. 62% of the ball the Sharks have had, and they certainly wouldn't be happy with what they've done with it.
Here are the Rabbitohs bringing it back out from the kickoff through Manasi Manakafoa. He'll play it for Shane Walker. Here is Luke Stewart, who's been out there for the entire 38 minutes so far in this game. Shane Walker to Ben Walker. As he comes to David Farlogo. He looks dangerous on that right-hand edge. He runs at Adam Dykes, and he's trying to spot up on him. Dykes was equal to the task on that occasion. A good run here by Logan, though. Gets them back to the halfway line. They've done that in 4 tackles. They slowed the play the ball down, the Sharks. Ben Walker goes to Sutton. Once again, he comes to Kamali. This time the halfback goes low and hangs on around the legs. And then the ball came loose. Stripping is the call against the Sharks. Bailey and Vangana were in there in the tackle. And the Rabbitohs will finish the first half here deep inside the Sharks' 20.
Well, there's been 14 penalties already in the game. There you can see Vangana hand on the football. Wasn't great ball security by John Sutton. But again, when you put yourself in a position where you've got your hand on the ball and it comes out, you're a suspect.
Time back on. And Ben Walker will take it inside the 20. 14 penalties in this first half, and the Sharks must have gone close to get another warning then from the referee. Here's Manakafoa. He'll have it just outside the 10. Can the Rabbitohs level things up here right on the break? Logan it is, who takes it forward. He runs towards Galloway, who did a good job on him, and then Reece Williams and Nutley get there to drive him back. Ben Walker is on the right-hand side. Harrison, though, comes to the left. He gives it to Sutton, who is a good option. Bailey this time makes up for his earlier mistake. There's Kamali again, lashing out as the ball was played, looking to force it again. Surely he'd be sin bin for that, having been penalised earlier in the game. Here's a ball, towed again by Ben Walker. Really a meek ending to a set of 6 inside the 20 in the final seconds of the first half. They needed to do better than that.
Well, he needed to pick the football up, Ben Walker. It would have been 6 to go. The Cronulla players had played at it, and his support players were in front of him. So when he kicked the ball, they were all offside. Got to show more patience. You've got to play with a bit more control. They are right in this game, South Sydney.
Here's Nutley going to Sullivan. They've given the Sharks one last chance here just before half-time. This will be the final play the ball of the first half. As Sullivan gets back to his feet in time, he does that. Here's Kamala, just putting in a clearing kick. It will bounce down to Shannon Hegarty. In fact, he'll just watch it across the sideline. And that'll do us for the opening 40 minutes. It's 2 tries to 1 at the break. The Rabbitohs lost Tolglaze to the sin bin. They are in this game up to their eyeballs. But we are back underway at Toyota Park. Cavell with the kickoff. Floats down a high one. It comes down on top of the goal line, and Sutton gives it to Manakafoa, who brings it back out to be stopped there by Vangana and also Bailey. Shane Walker waiting at dummy half. Will go to his right-hand side to give it to Logan. Sullivan up very quickly. The first contact. Nutley was also there. He's penalised a couple of times, Nutley, in that first half. Brett Kamali also, and there were general warnings to both captains at various stages by referee Russell Smith. A total of 14 penalties in that first 40 minutes as well. It was a very much stop-start affair, especially when you throw in the amount of drop ball by the Sharks especially. Here's Harrison taking it to the line, giving it to Manakafoa, who came to Michael Sullivan and just flicked him away. He got it back to the halfway line. A good run by the bench forward. Shane Walker goes to Ben, who will kick in behind them. Peachy there. He'll pick it up here in his own in goal area. When he does, he'll be under some pressure. He comes back to Ben Walker, and they've stopped him. They'll trap him in the in goal and get 6 more tackles. Great work by Ben Walker.
Yeah, enthusiastic set after half-time. Ben Walker finding space. The ball roll. Peachy, a little bit casually getting to the football, and then the chase was there. The man leading it, Ben Walker.
It's the first goal line dropout in the game. Of course, Ben Walker and Shane Walker still negotiating a contract for next season and beyond with the Rabbitohs, and play like that will certainly help Ben Walker's cause. The dropout bounces a couple of times before Garth Wood picks it up and comes back towards Michael Sullivan. The Rabbitohs get an early chance here in the second half to try and level this game at 12. Shane Walker turning it on the inside there for Scott Logan, who comes to Dykes and also Sullivan. They spin him and get him to ground. They slow it down as a consequence, and then Sullivan and also Nutley ended up on their backside instead of being at marker. Sutton has the ball go over his shoulder. It went backwards. Ashley Harrison picks it up and went past Kamali. Bailey was there to stop him with the help of Vangana. Shane Walker. And Manasi Manakafoa. He gets to Bailey and tries to pivot away from the tackle. 4 tackles gone there at the 10-metre line of the Sharks. Walker going to the left-hand side, gives it to Harrison. There was nothing doing on the blind, so he comes back to the open. Now Ben Walker runs across the face of them. An inside ball for Farlogo to Polglaze. And the sin binner is in for a try. And in a moment's time will be squared up at 12 each.
Oh, some good football. Some really good footy played in this set. Keeping the ball alive. Changes of direction. And South Sydney, great start to the second half. We'll have an even ball game. Going to Ashley Harrison, nothing on. Well, I'll switch it to the other side. Gives it to Ben Walker. He drifts across. They start to become lazy from the inside, the Sharks defenders. So there was nothing happening. So he just drifted the ball back to the other side of the ruck. They'd switched off the Sharks. All of a sudden they realised they needed to show some urgency. They weren't there, and Polglaze backing up. Farlogo going through, and Polglaze, first one of the night. 10 minutes in the bin in the first half, but redeemed himself.
Here's Walker from right in front. It's a dozen each. With just over half an hour remaining, the Rabbitohs fans are happy, Greg. They know if they win here tonight, they avoid the spoon.
Yeah, Sean McRae, that's the start he was looking for. He was really happy with the way his side hung in there in the first half, down to 12 men for 10 minutes of the game and only 6 behind. Now they're level. Look, you can't put that position of the wooden spoon. I think they can put that to bed tonight. They're certainly, as they did in round 18, playing better the longer the game goes. Now, Stuart Raper very disappointed with his side's first half. Lazy on the inside in that try. Errors and poor completion rates at halftime. I know you blokes spoke about them, but that was a substandard effort, and they need to do a lot better if they're going to compete in these semi-finals next week.
Well, they will finish 7th, regardless of what happens here tonight. And if the Dragons win against the Knights tomorrow, they would face St George Illawarra next week in week 1 of the finals on Saturday night down at Wollongong's Wynn Stadium. And you would think that would be a very uncomfortable experience for the Sharks to go down there, given the form the Dragons have been in while they've racked up a 6-game winning streak. Here's Sutton coming to Kamali, of course. The Tigers will still have something to say about that top 2. Especially if the Knights, of course, are able to get past the Dragons tomorrow or win by the Tigers with enough of the forward against differential in their favour, and the Knights can beat the Dragons by 10 or so. The Tigers with a 10-point win could suddenly find themselves in 2nd position. Here's Shane Walker again as the Rabbitohs ask more questions of the Sharks here. Not backwards, off a Shark, not played at. The tackle count continues. Here's Ben Walker giving it to Stewart. He dumps it out the back. From Ben Walker again, quick hands. It comes back to Logan. Here's Walker once again. How many touches can he have? Sutton fends away from Mellor. He put him on his backside. He straightens up. Sutton is skipping and now running and going for the line. He's a genius.
Let's have a look at that, Mick.
Russell Smith wants to take a look at this. There might be 4 or 5 incidents in the build-up which the video ref Mick Stone will need to peruse.
Don't worry, just give it. That was a great rugby league try. They just kept the ball alive. Out of dummy half, Kamali makes contact, but he's prepared to throw the ball. For me, that looked as though it went forward. You see in the tackle, is it stripped? Tries to pass the football, comes off Kamali's head,
That's
then
okay.
goes forward. So that's okay. I think he's thrown it backwards, then hit Kamali's head. Here comes the try. And South Sydney have hit the lead after being down 12-0.
It is deja vu for the Sharks. They coughed up a lead at Aussie Stadium back in round 18, and here are the Rabbitohs again, going away from them with 2 quick tries to start the second half.
Well, whatever Sean McRae said at half-time, it certainly worked. They've looked very urgent in everything that they've done in the second half so far, South Sydney. They want to play a fast game. They want to control the ruck. And there you can see the offloading skills have scored them a 4-pointer.
The conversion is good from Ben Walker. Peter Cusack brings it back. Stopped there by Kevin Kingston and also Danny Nutley. They're just outside the Sharks 30 once again. Scott Geddes running a long way before he got to Reece Williams. They waited on that right-hand side of the defensive line, and Geddes picked up big meters. Here's Sutton. He gives it to Mark Minicello. Stopped there by Galloway and also Bailey. They're at the 10. They've got 3 tackles. Harrison dummies a couple of times, trying to ghost his way through the defensive line. Kingston was able to stop him. Now Ben Walker out in front. He throws a cutout ball, intercepted by Mellor. Colglaze is chasing. We know how quick he is. Mellor showing good speed though. Gets away from the fullback. He goes 90 metres to score, Paul Mellor. 6 tries in 3 games against the Rabbitohs. And in a moment, we could be locked up here at Toyota Park once again.
Well, the Sharks respond, and they needed to be next to score. The Bunnies were on a roll. Chanced his hand. Ben Walker went the cutout. But the Sharks, they made a commitment to move forward in the defensive line and get amongst South Sydney. He picked the ball, raced 80 metres to score, and Polglade's done a fantastic job to chase. Probably dived a little bit too early. I think if he had held back for another 5 metres, it would have been a better attempt. I think he would have got himself closer, but he made a decision in the heat of the battle. And Mellor, second try for the night.
And now Cavell get the Sharks back on level terms again.
If only he was in the South Sydney jumper, Paul Mellor. Of course he will be there next year.
There's the kick by Cavell. It's a good one. 18 plays 18 here at Toyota Park. We've got 25 minutes left. A win by the Rabbitohs, of course, remembering will hand the wooden spoon for 2005 to the Newcastle Knights, no matter what happens tomorrow at Cogra. Garth Wood coming back. They lost about 15 metres on the play there. They'll play it just outside the 20. Here's Walker going to Ben. It goes high in the air. Dave Simmons stands underneath it. He flew from the field of play. No, in fact, he took it on the fall after being in the in-goal area, said the referee. He thought it was play on Dave Simmons, and he might have picked up some big metres had he been able to.
Well, I'm sure he would have. South Sydney, they'd gone through on the chase, and Simmons, he wanted to play on, as you mentioned. He was capable of running 100 metres and scoring. But one of the Sharks got in their game in the next 20 minutes. There's a good run out of dummy half by Kingston onto Peachy.
He was there again down the middle third of the field looking for a half chance, and he got one. Here's Bailey now. They've got a roll on here. It goes to Simmons. The pass was behind him from Bailey. It wasn't a great one. He had to cut back on the inside as a result. He plays it, though, just outside the Rabbitohs 20. They've got a long way down the field in a few tackles. Reece Williams, who was the victim of a couple of high tackles the moment he came on the field in the first half. He'll play it here in the tackle of Shane Walker. Kingston goes to Dykes. Grubbers in behind them. Well picked up, though, by Ben Walker. He steps and then launches a counter-attack on his own line. He came straight to Minicello.
Oh, looking to keep the ball alive. That was great skill by Ben Walker. And the awareness to throw the ball to the other side of the ruck and look to get into the groove straight away. It's McDougall out of dummy half. But the Sharks, if they're a genuine threat in this year's final series, they need to be able to respond when put under pressure, because that's what semi-final games are all about. Over an 80-minute contest, one side will be in control, and then you'll have your period where you're in control. And you've got to hit back when you've been under pressure. That's what they've got to show us in the next 20 minutes, to hit back and hit back strongly.
Kick by Shane Walker off the run by Luke Stewart. It finds the line just centimetres out from the corner post. Well, Luke Cavell will argue the toss and say, sir, that crossed the line on the touch in goal side of the corner post. The referee disagrees. It will still be a Sharks feed here, and here it is again. Well, you can see the ball going across the top of the corner post. The shadow of it was certainly on the corner post. It looked as though Luke Cavell might have had a case.
Well, that's why the officials are there. It was always going to be difficult for the video referee. You would assume that it's gone over the top. I can't be 100% sure, Warren. I'll go with the official.
Make the corner post taller, perhaps. They could extend into the sky 30 or 40 feet. Keep somebody busy putting them back up there every time they got knocked over. Here's a mistake by Mayava again. Oh, he lashes out and puts it right on the chin of Luke Stewart. A real connection there. The boys are busy suddenly here at Toyota. There was a bit of a coming together after the mistake. He loaded up and cocked a right hand and didn't miss.
Take him back, boys.
Well, he didn't miss. Luke Stewart's done well to still be standing. There you see Hutch.
Just take him back, Brett.
Bit upset with dropping the football.
Take our players back.
Lets out here and then bang. Well, I think he might have missed. Lucky.
Well,
but I think the penalty will go against him.
I've seen it the same way, mate.
There's no risk about that. He lashed out there and then got up throwing punches. I don't know about him missing. He might have just grazed the chin there of Luke Stewart. It might have been a good thing too. There'll be a chance here for Ben Walker to put the Rabbitohs back in front. In the middle of the field, just outside the 30, they'll take the chance to kick a penalty goal to make it 20 points to 18 inside the final quarter of this game. It was a fair roundhouse chop to the chest, wasn't it?
Ah, the boys. But look at the South Sydney players coming in to support their mate.
He's just about right in front of the post, and he slots it as well to put the Rabbitohs back in front. It's 20 to 18, and what is a fairly interesting game suddenly. I tell you what, the next few hit-ups by the South forwards will be interesting when Hutch Mayava comes down the middle of the park, looking for a little square-up perhaps. They go for a shallow kick off the Sharks. Harrison does well to get there. He showed good presence of mind to realise the short one was a chance and was able to get to it on the full and plays it there at the 30-metre line. Geddes taking it up. Stopped there by Mayava. With company, he had Bailey there also and Nutley. Getting through a ton of work again tonight. Here's a miscommunication between the Rabbitohs. Shane Walker had the ball go behind Shannon Hegarty there, and it's been ruled to have been knocked on.
Well, a big call. South Sydney after points not getting to their kick. I think it was a correct call by the referee. They're lined up deep from the scrum. Adam Dykes, is he about to drift across field, looking for players to come back on the inside? Maybe a show and go himself.
Here he is, Peachy, linking up with Adam Dykes. They're 35 metres out. Dykes from dummy half. We'll give it to Philip Lulawai. He runs at Mark Minicello, who's able to stop him there with the help of Luke Stewart. Kingston, who scored the first try of the game. He gives it to Nutley, who stepped off the right foot and got in behind Scott Geddes, who slipped over in the line. Now Kamali at close hand, goes to Dykes, second man play. Vangana cutting back towards the post with the Rabbitohs. Realigned themselves quickly, sliding across to that left-hand side. They kept coming across from the middle and made a good tackle. Kamali, inside ball. It comes back to Matt Hilder. Paul Glaze came up and helped out Minicello. He's a couple of metres away. Kingston goes to Kamali. Here's Nutley. They're up very front on the left-hand side, and I'm sure Nutley thought he was the decoy. Ended up with the football and hung on to it well, but that was the last tackle.
Well, that was a poor end to a set of 6. They had the numbers on the left edge. The numbers there were about 4 on 2. And Kamali just giving the ball on to Nutley. You'd think he'd be aware to know that it was fifth tackle. And a repeat set of 6 in that situation would have been what the doctor would order. But it was an easy play for South Sydney to defend. Once again, vision, under pressure. Comes back to your halves, controlling the game, making the right decisions.
Last couple of tackles here for South, and now another miscommunication. This time it was Hegarty again coming through too quickly for Shane Walker, and Walker gives him a bit of a serve as a result. The kick is touched down here, a chance for the Rabbitohs. Here's Harrison, he goes straight past Peachy, and now a flick out the back to Hegarty. He's tackled, and an important one made by Luke Cavell. Here's Minicello. He goes towards the post, he comes to Peachy. That is tackle 2 as the 6 again call from the referee, and then Polglaze went underneath him. He's in again, and the Rabbitohs will lead here by 8 points.
Well, the supporters have turned up in their numbers to support this South Sydney team, and they aren't letting them down. They want to get away from the spoon. They've won it too many times over the last couple of years, and they're playing some really good football. The hand went up by Kingston. They made the most of it. They chased. They were the ones that showed urgency to get on the football. South Sydney. Minicello out of dummy half. Look at the leg drive, the determination he showed. Peachy does well to hang on, but he couldn't recover. Polglaze out of dummy half, saw the space in behind the back of the ruck and went for it. Second tonight. Saved a couple. Had an outstanding game.
Another 2 points for the halfback. The Rabbitohs lead by 8, and that is the look of a very worried coach.
Yeah, poor fifth tackle there by the Sharks, and the Rabbitohs go 100 metres to score a try. Todd Polglaze, they're 8 points clear now. The Sharks have only won 4 games since round 11, and unless they can turn this around, they could go into the semis with back-to-back losses against teams that were placed 15th, the Knights last week, and 14th, the Bunnies.
And that is no form to be going into the finals with, despite the good form of course, the Rabbitohs and the Knights, who have been outplaying teams a lot higher than them on the NRL ladder in recent times. Those teams in the battle for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th have been treading water, while the Knights and the Rabbitohs below them have just kept on winning. Here's Farloga. Very impressive game from him tonight coming off the bench for South. He'll play it for Shane Walker. Another stuttering motion from dummy half, but Scott Geddes went right through the middle. Walker is there. Geddes for the line himself. He might still get there. He's a metre short. Last play here, Shane Walker goes to the right. They come to Bo Champion. Here's Garth Wood. He'll grab it for the corner, off the legs of the Sharks. Picked up by Champion. Still the last play. No 6 again. Ben Walker stops stone still, puts a kick in, and that will be a knock-on.
Well, it looked for all money that the South Sydney team were going to score again. That's some ordinary defence by the Sharks.
He's got 2.
When a front rower can just go through your line like that, that's disappointing.
That's all right.
Geddes had Ben Walker with him on his right-hand side. Didn't pass. Ben Walker would have strolled under the post to score and probably win the game for the Rabbitohs, you'd have to say. He almost got there himself, Geddes. It could be an important metre if the Sharks make a comeback here in the final 12 minutes. Kingston, he goes to Kamali, putting the foot down himself, taking them on, but stopped by Minicello. The ball comes loose, and it goes against the Sharks. Kamali can't believe it. His teammates were blowing up behind him. I'm sure they feel they've had the rough end of the pineapple, if you like, in the 50-50 calls tonight. Here's Geddes again. Walker was there. Geddes could see Kingston, no doubt, in between the two of them. Here's the mistake again. Well, Harrison has his arm there around the back of Kamali. It would have been a very tough call to penalise Harrison there.
I think he's tried to milk it, Brett Kamali. I think he's tried to milk the penalty.
Out.
The completion rate of the Rabbitohs, 18 of 31 so far in the game.
Oh, look, that's been the disappointing thing about the Sharks' performance. They had a lot of motivation to play, and yet their intensity level has been nowhere near what you would expect from a side in the semi-finals. And of course, one of their stalwarts, one of their best ever players, David Peachey, last ever game here. And it's basically saying, well, bad luck, mate. They haven't ripped in and tried to help David Peachey, send him out a winner, which would be disappointing.
Last week we saw the Melbourne Storm in the same situation with Robbie Kearns, and they were fired up like they have rarely been in 2005 to beat the Tigers last Saturday night. And here the Sharks are, and they are 8 points down with 10 minutes on the clock. Peachey was there again in the middle of the park looking for a ball as Mayava carries it forward, stopped by Minicello. He plays it back to Sullivan. Vangana goes to Adam McDougall, but there's no way through either he or John Sutton. Play number 5 in this set. Kamali gives it to Mayava. And another simple one close to the line. Just a short ball off the hip. Sullivan will look for Kamali once again. We'll see what they come up with. A slow play the ball. The Rabbitohs are up in their faces already. Kamali kicks. A chance for Peachey! And the Peach puts it down just inside the touch and goal line.
Please. Onside and grounded, please, mate.
He's given the Sharks a chance here. It'll go upstairs. But the fullback got it down for what will be surely try number 110 in his career.
Oh, you can see the Peach getting wide. He wanted the football. South Sydney had moved forward with their defence, put Kamali under pressure, and he just stopped. And when he stopped, South Sydney stopped. And then the kick went across Peachey. It'll be a penalty anyhow if it's not a try, because he's tackled in the air. He brings the ball down. There it is. Try for the Peach, 110 in his career. And he said, if you blokes aren't going to help me, well, I'll have to do it on my own.
Now there's a question again here by the video referee. I'm not exactly sure as to what he could be looking at there. There was no doubt, though, that Peachey got the ball down inside the touch and goal line before that left hand came down. They're onside. The put down was good. Norm Provan. He is here tonight, of course. One half of the Provan Summons medal. We'll see that awarded on Tuesday night at the Dally M's at the Sydney Town Hall. But the Peachey clan is delirious. Their hero has scored in his final game at Toyota Park and given the home side a chance in this final 9 minutes. Cavell fading it too much on this occasion.
And who's it going to be? They've got a number of game breakers in their team. But which one wants the football? Which one's prepared to do it?
Kamali going to Dykes, a good pass out in front of him. Got him going in the right direction in a hurry. Now Kamali gets to dummy half. He goes to Nigel Vangana. Inside ball back to Kamali for Simmons. Knocked down by the winger. Picked up by McDougall, who knocks Logan out of the way. He's still beating players, his own and the opponents. Gordon stopped there by Nutley. That might have been just about the Sharks' last chance.
Well, if they play this set good, you would think that South Sydney will go on and win this game. They get far enough downfield, they'll be looking for a repeat set of 6. If not,
Scott Geddes thought he was past Danny Nutley and might have lost part of his strides as a result.
Everything happens here at Toyota Park.
That's no way to win the game. And he's had a good game as well. Here's Garth Wood taking his time to play it. Plenty of tackles up their sleeve. We'll see if they can do better this time inside the 20 than they did at the back end of their last set of 6. Minicello from dummy half. Gets away from Nutley. Almost in between Williams and Bailey. He'll play it back to Champion. He shows it one way. Goes himself. Comes back to the short side. He's in between them. No, he's not. Nutley stopped him. Gordon from dummy half. Goes to Ben Walker. A grubber off the legs of Mellor. Picked up by Sullivan. Inside the final minute. They need to go 100 metres, the Sharks.
That's okay, though, by the Sharks. You said it was. They've got to go 100 metres. South Sydney, they've got to defend. They'll show plenty of urgency.
Kamali taking it. There was nobody in his outside bar. Nigel Vangana. Here's David Peachey. What can he do? in his final minute of play at his home field. Harrison gets the ball for the Rabbitohs, and that should be the game. He showed desperation to get there. He picks it up just outside the 20, and Souths will beat the Sharks tonight, and you know what that means. They avoid the wooden spoon, and the wooden spooners for 2005, unfortunately, will be the Newcastle Knights. What a win this is for the Rabbitohs. It will be their 6th in their last 8 games.
Well, it's been a tremendous effort by South Sydney. There's the siren and the jubilation of their players and their fans and supporters. They're excited. They deserve the victory tonight. They were more urgent. They showed more intensity, and they showed more pride in their performance.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.